أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
درود پڑھیں. پارے دیگر صلوات. اس قوم کے رونے کو بڑی بات یہی ہے. اس قوم کے رونے کو یہی بات بڑی ہے. زہرا بھرے دربار میں حق مانگ رہی ہے. اس قوم کے رونے کو یہی بات بڑی ہے. سایہ بھی کبھی دھوپ میں آیا نہیں جس کا سایہ بھی کبھی دھوپ میں آیا نہیں جس کا پہلو کو سنبھالے شعلوں میں کھڑی ہے. پہلو کو سنبھالے ہوئے شولوں میں کھڑی ہے، جو آگ لگی تھی کبھی زہرا تیرے گھر میں، جو آگ لگی تھی کبھی زہرا دامن میں سکینہ کے وہی آگ لگی ہے، دامن میں سکینہ کے وہی آگ لگی ہے، تا دیر تڑپتے رہے تعظیم کو لاشیں، تا دیر تڑپتے رہے تعظیم کو لاشیں، یہ کون ضعیفہ ہے جو مقتل میں کھڑی ہے، یہ کون ضعیفہ ہے جو مقتل میں کھڑی ہے، سجاد تو خاموش ہے بازار میں، لیکن سجاد تو خاموش ہے بازار میں، لیکن زنجیر کی ایک ایک کڑی بول رہی ہے، زنجیر کی ایک ایک کڑی بول رہی ہے، اس قوم کے رونے کو یہی بات بڑی ہے، زہرا بھرے دربار میں حق مانگ رہی ہے، درود
پر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. فاطمہ کا بھرے مدینے میں غم بٹانے کوئی نہیں آیا. فاطمہ کا بھرے مدینے میں غم بٹانے کوئی نہیں آیا. گھر جلانے تو کلمہ گو آئے, گھر جلانے تو کلمہ گو آئے, حیدر بجھانے کوئی نہیں آیا. کیا وہ اسلام کا ہی مرکز تھا, کیا مدینہ تھا وہ محمد کا, کیا وہ اسلام کا ہی مرکز تھا, کیا مدینہ تھا وہ محمد کا. لگ رہے تھے جہاں پہ زہرا کے, لگ رہے تھے جہاں پہ زہرا کے, تازیانے کوئی نہیں آیا. رسیاں تھیں علی کی گردن میں اور بازار سے گزرتے تھے. رسیاں تھیں علی کی گردن میں اور بازار سے گزرتے تھے. سب تماشائی بن کے تکتے رہے اور چھڑانے کوئی نہیں آیا. فاطمہ کا بھرے مدینے میں غم بٹانے کوئی نہیں آیا. خود ہی چننے لگی نبی زادی, بکھری تحریر اپنے بابا کی. خود ہی چننے لگی نبی زادی, بکھری تحریر اپنے بابا کی. مصطفیٰ کی سند کے ٹکڑوں کو, مصطفیٰ کی سند کے ٹکڑوں کو ہے جب اٹھانے کوئی نہیں آیا. ہر ستم فاطمہ پہ ڈھایا گیا, جلتا دروازہ بھی گرایا گیا. ہر ستم فاطمہ پہ ڈھایا گیا, جلتا دروازہ بھی گرایا گیا. اپنے مہدی کو دی صدا اس نے, اپنے مہدی کو دی صدا اس نے جب بچانے کوئی نہیں آیا. فاطمہ کا بھرے مدینے میں غم بٹانے کوئی نہیں آیا. گھر جلا قتل ہو گئے محسن، پسلیاں سیدہ کی ٹوٹ گئی. گھر جلا قتل ہو گئے محسن، پسلیاں سیدہ کی ٹوٹ گئیں. پھر بھی کہتے ہو تم کہ زہرا پر، پھر بھی کہتے ہو تم کہ زہرا پر ظلم ڈھانے کوئی نہیں آیا. 8 شوال کو ہوئی اکبر، پھر شہادت نبی کی بیٹی کی. 8 شوال کو ہوئی اکبر، پھر شہادت نبی کی بیٹی کی. گر رہا تھا مزار بی بی کا، گر رہا تھا مزار بی بی کا، پر بچانے کوئی نہیں آیا. فاطمہ کا بھرے مدینے میں غم بٹانے کوئی نہیں آیا. گھر جلانے تو کلمہ گو آئے، حیدر بجھانے کوئی نہیں آیا. پر محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم.
ہزاروں سالوں پہ بھاری تھے وہ 75 دن، ہزاروں سالوں پہ بھاری تھے وہ 75 دن، نبی کی بیٹی نے جو باپ کی فرقت میں گزارے رو کر. ہزاروں سالوں پہ بھاری تھے وہ 75 دن، نبی کی بیٹی نے جو باپ کی فرقت میں گزارے رو کر. کہاں وہ وقت سحر روز پیغمبر کی صدا، سلام تم پہ ہو اے اہل بیت آل نبی. کہاں وہ وقت سحر روز پیغمبر کی صدا، سلام تم پہ ہو اے اہل بیت آل نبی. آیت انما اتری ہے کہ اللہ نے تمہیں ہر نجاست سے ہمیشہ کے لیے پاک کیا. کہاں یہ وقت کہ حاکم کی یہ جرت کے کہے بات مانی نہیں جا سکتی تمہاری ہرگز، جھوٹ گر کہتی نہیں کوئی گواہی لاؤ. شوہر تو وہی کہے گا کہ جو تم چاہتی ہو، رہے 2 بچے تو یہ دونوں ابھی چھوٹے ہیں، یوں بھی وارث نہیں ہوتا ہے نبی کا کوئی. بات چپکے سے کہی، بات یہ یوں بھی وارث نہیں ہوتا ہے نبی کا کوئی. بات یہ خود تھی نبی نے ہمیں چپکے سے کہی. قبضہ ثابت ہے ہمارا، سو ہمارا ہے فدک، پاس رکھیں یا جسے چاہیں اسے دے ڈالیں، اب یہ ورثہ ہے ہمارا ہی خلافت کی طرح، ہم ہی ہیں دین کے اور دنیا کے کرتا دھرتا۔ 1400 صدیوں سے یہ طرز سخن جاری ہے، دعویٰ حق پہ وہ پہلا سا ستم جاری ہے، بس مگر یاد میں ایک قوم کے تازہ ہیں وہ دن، نبی کی بیٹی نے جو باپ کی فرقت میں گزارے رو کر۔ اللہم صل۔
السلام علیکم جمیعاً ورحمۃ اللہ۔ اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم، بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ الحمد للہ رب العالمین وصلی اللہ علی سیدنا و نبینا ابی القاسم المصطفیٰ محمد صلی اللہ علی محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توغى وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على Muhammad وآل Muhammad. Thank you for this invite and to be part of a majlis that is being held for Hazrat Fatima Salam Allah alayha. اور خدا سے یہ دعا ہے کہ اس مجلس کو خدا متعال ہماری قبر میں ہماری قیامت کے لیے باعث نور قرار دے انشاءاللہ. And whatever we learn, may Allah hasten in the return of our Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. مجالس فاطمہ سلام اللہ علیہا جب برپا ہوتی ہیں، host of Aza is Amir al-Mu'mineen and Hasanain alayhim السلام. اور یہ ہمارا عقیدہ ہے، حق ہے کہ جہاں کہیں بھی مجلس برپا ہوتی ہے اس میں معصومین حاضر ہوتے ہیں، اس میں کوئی شک کی بات نہیں ہے. زرارہ جو ہیں امام صادق علیہ السلام کے شاگرد ہیں، اور امام صادق ان کے تقریباً he has 4000 students. یہ نہیں کہ just a word of mouth, it's all registered and recorded that Imam had that many students. Imam had lectures every day. One of the brilliant students of the Imam is Zurara. In one of the lessons, Zurara was absent. The next day, Imam asks him, Zurara, why were you absent yesterday? کل کیوں نہیں آیا درس میں؟ درس امام زمانہ کا درس ہے، اور امام زمانہ کے درس میں کیوں غائب تھے؟ اب زرارہ جو ہے ان کو معلوم ہے کہ امام کے پاس علم ہے اس کا. That's our aqidah that we have. Imams, they have the knowledge of everything. Knowledge of the seen, knowledge of the unseen, what is behind the scenes, they know everything. You don't need to tell them something, write to them something for them to know. Whatever comes to your heart is in the inbox of the Imam immediately. He knows it. زرارہ نے फिर इमाम फरमाते हैं कि अगर कोई काम था किसी और के ज़रिए करवा लेते, अगर कुछ हॉस्पिटल ले जाना था, कुछ भी इमरजेंसी थी, किसी और से कराते। इमाम के दर्स में क्यों गायब थे? Why were you absent from the lesson of the imam of your time? Zurara then says that truly speaking, Imam, we have in every community some people recite very well. नोहे अच्छे पढ़ते हैं, मरसी अच्छे पढ़ते हैं, कुछ लोग रोते बहुत अच्छा हैं, रुलाते अच्छा हैं। तो जुरारा ने कहा कि I invited the best of those people who recite and who cry on your grandfather Hussein to my house, and we were a few of us, just a few. And then each one of us recited and all of us cried for your grandfather Hussein. Imam said, I know that, and I was present in your majlis. Then Zurara says that I had a feeling that someone is by the door. So यहाँ पर Imam says it wasn't a feeling, it wasn't a sensation. I was there present by the door. Zurara said, if you were there, then why did you not step in? Imam says, how could I? Because my mother Zahra also was by the footwear where the mu'mineen, they come to sit and recite and hear the masa'ib of her son. She is part of that majlis. She couldn't come in. I also did not come in because of the respect I had towards her. तो ये मजालिस जो होती हैं अहल बैत की, they are great. That's the biggest blessing that Allah has given to us. That a majlis that is held for them, and it is our faith and aqidah, they are present, they are there. And that is why we have all this adab that is observed in majalis, because of the presence of the ma'asumeen alayhim as-salam. Now Fatimiya, it is observed on 2 dates. Shahadat to ek hi hai. Shahadat ya to Hazrat ki 3 Jammade'ul awwal ko, 3 Jammade'ul Sani ko, ya 13 Jammade'ul awwal ko. It's one of the two. So there is a report which says that she passed away 75 days after Rasulullah. Other reports say that she passed away 95 days after Rasulullah. So why is this difference of opinion? दो ओपिनियन क्यों जबकि शहादत एक है? उसकी वजह यह है कि अरबी का जो रस्मुल ख़त था शुरू में, उसमें नुक्ते नहीं थे. So in Arabic, when you want to say 95, you say khamsun wa sab'un. When you want to say 95, you say khamsun wa tis'un. And when you write it without the dots, that is how it looks. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. So there are no dots, so anyone can read khamsun wa sab'un or khamsun wa tis'un. It's either of us, of the two. And when the dots were introduced into the Arabic language, the ahadith that say that Hazrat Fatima, she died 75 or 95 days after Rasulullah, now they did not know where to put the dots. So this is how it looked. So some put the dots on khamsun wa sab'un, some put the dots on khamsun wa tis'un. So that is 95 and 75. That is the reason why we have 2 dates for the shahadat of Hazrat Fatima alayha salam. So that is another mystery in itself, that when she doesn't want the grave to be identified or known by anyone, and especially those who hurt her, to be present in her funeral, we see that the shahadat also that is observed for her is for that many days of the demise of Hazrat Fatima salamullahi alayha. That is 75 and 95. So you know why we have 2 shahadats. If anyone objects or says something, you say that that's the reason. Dots were introduced in the Arabic language way after the shahadat to facilitate people, and that is why this difference of opinion comes into existence. There is a hadith, both the Shias and the Sunnis, they have mentioned it. They say that when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, sallallahu Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, when he used to perform wuzu, So the wuzu water dropped from his face, the droplets of water. When he pours water on his hand, the droplets, they fell from his hands as well. Muslims, they used to sit in front of Rasulullah when he's performing wuzu, and they took those droplets of water that has touched the Mubarak face and hands of Rasulullah as tabarruk. And it is not bad. Even if we were there, we would have done the same thing. That is something that is so Mubarak that has touched the pure body of Rasulullah. What happened in Medina that immediately after the demise of the Prophet, those same people who took the wuzu water as tabarruk did so bad to the daughter of Rasulullah. हुआ क्या वहाँ पर? यानी वही मुसलमान थे जो कि तबर्रुक के तौर पर पानी को लेते थे, अब उन्होंने आकर जो है इतना तशद्दुद किया, ज़्यादती की हज़रत ज़हरा के साथ, अमीरुल मोमिनीन के साथ. And 4 decades down the road, Karbala comes into existence. यानी a head-on collision. वही मुसलमान, वही कलमा गो, वही नमाज पढ़ने वाले, रसूलुल्लाह को मानने वाले, कत्ल भी कर दिया नवासे का, बेटी पे तशद्दुद कर दिया, दामाद को ज़्यादती की उनके साथ, हक़ उनका छीना गया. What happened and what went wrong? And this is an indicator for every one of us. That is Iman that Allah has given to us. It is not guaranteed. It is going to be with me until the end of my life. Just like this health I have, it can be taken away. A stroke, I'm gone. Wealth I have, someone mugs me, I'm gone. I'm penniless. Iman is also the same. Iman also, it's a blessing given by Allah. It can be seized away from anyone at any time. माह रमज़ान में हम लोग जो दुआएं पढ़ते हैं उसमें एक दुआ यह है कि अल्लाहुम्मा इन्नी अस्अलुका ईमानन तुबाशिरु बिही क़ल्बी. And this dua we repeat it in the night du'as, in the day du'as, after dua iftitah, every day so many times, because it is a blessing. It can be taken away and we don't want that to happen. Imam फरमाते हैं कि there are some things for you to do in the end of time, especially this time that we are living in, where there is deviation left and right at your fingertips. Anyone can be misled at any point in his life. The deviations that we have now, the sins that are available now, to commit these sins 30, 40 years ago, you had to spend a year, 2 years to do one of them. Now it's all accessible so easily. So the time is bad. For here, Imam says what you do is that with your right hand on your chest, you say, Ya Allahu, Ya Rahmanu, Ya Rahim, Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Sabbit Qalbi ala Dinik. Keep me firm on your religion. दीन पर जो है मुझे बाकी रख, क्योंकि दीन नेमत ईमान जो है वो छिन सकती है इंसान से कभी भी. In Medina, what happened and what they did with Rasulullah was a head-on collision. कुरान में एक आयत है, खुदा फरमाता है कि वला तत्तबिउ खुतुवात शैतान, that you don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. Khutwa is step, footstep. Khutuwat is the plural, footsteps. और शैतान के पास जो है, he doesn't take big steps, very tiny steps, small steps. If we look back into our own performance and we see at a point in our life we were different, and a point now we are different. Many things we didn't do then we may be doing now, or we may not be doing then, are doing now. And we did not even notice that we are doing things that we were never meant to do. That is khutuwat shaitan. Shaitan has a lot of patience, a lot of sabr. And he deviates slowly and he gets to his aims and destination also. That is why Quran says that don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. People, they come to Rasulullah and they say that, Ya Rasulullah, when we are in your majlis, in your meetings, we feel that we are better people. But when we go into our own businesses, in our own dwellings, in our own schools, we are different. We are not what we are in your presence. Then they say that, Ya Rasulullah, are we hypocrites? Are we munafiqeen? Rasulullah says, you are not hypocrites. You are not a munafiq. This is an indicator that shaitan has entered your living. So if you feel that you are different in the center and different outside the center, different in the presence of good people, different in the presence of your own peer group, whatever that is an indicator that we have to look into ourselves, that something is seriously wrong and we need to fix it immediately. That is a 911 indicator. For that, we have to be extra vigilant, extra cautious, especially looking into our own self, because we have been created and the price of the human being is the heaven. That is a hadith from Amirul Mu'mineen. Imam says that every one of you, me, myself. My price tag is Jannah, is the heaven. If Jannah is, for example, priced at $1,000 billion, so my price is also the same, $1,000 billion. And Imam says, every wrong that I do, that price tag of mine, which is $1,000 billion, it's reducing. It's being shed, cutting down. And then Imam says, don't sell yourself to anything less than that original price tag that Allah had on you. Now all this that is being said is a lesson to myself first and a reminder to you brothers. Majalis of Hazrat Fatima are to learn. That is, we look into ourselves, that is what is wrong. How she supported the Imam of her time, Amirul Mu'mineen. How she supported Rasulullah. Now she is a young lady, age is 18. And in that 18 Mubarak years of her life, you see all beauty, all goodness. As a child, as a wife, as a mother, as someone living in the community, the best of services were provided by Hazrat Fatima. In the battles that she used to participate and to serve Rasulullah and Amirul Mu'mineen, historians, they say that Amirul Mu'mineen in one of these battles was wounded heavily. Hazrat Zahra, she does the nursing over there. And then when she comes to sees the wounds on the pure body of Amirul Mu'mineen, nothing could be done. What she does is that she spreads out a sheet and applies all the balm and medication in that sheet and wraps Amirul Mu'mineen in that sheet, because the numerous wounds, bleeding of Amirul Mu'mineen could be stopped only that way. That is how she cares for her husband, cares for her father. Or when it comes to looking after her own children, it's not like this day and age that we are living in, everything is simple and easy. There, Hazrat Fatima, she has to grind the wheat herself. She has to make the bread herself. She has to feed her children herself. And when she wants help, she comes to her father that I need help in my day-to-day tasks. Rasulullah says that I'll give you something that's going to be better for you and for your akhirah. First she comes and says to Amirul Mu'mineen, I need help at home. Amirul Mu'mineen says, go and ask your dad. जब आई हज़रत फ़ातिमा रसूलुल्लाह के पास, रसूलुल्लाह ने फरमाया कि मैं तुम्हें एक हदिया देता हूँ that's going to be useful for this dunya and for akhirah. And the gift Rasulullah gives is this tasbih of Hazrat Fatima that we recite after namaz. Now we generally do it, but we have to do it in the proper way that Rasulullah advises Hazrat Fatima. Because there is a hadith from Imam Sadiq, he says that one tasbih of Hazrat Fatima, which is 34 times Allahu Akbar, 33 times Alhamdulillah, 33 times Subhanallah, It is more rewarding than 1,000 raka'at of prayers offered. Now, this is an Imam who is saying 1,000 raka'at of prayers. So many Suratul Hamd are there, so many Qul Huwallah are there, Tasbih is there, Zikr is there. Now, the adab, how to do it. Namaz that we offer, it ends at the moment you say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, namaz is done. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar that we say, it is the start of ta'qibat after namaz. Now in most centers, what they do is that someone recites Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu, and then people start reciting salawat, there is du'as that are recited, all that is good. Now what is taught to us and mentioned by the ma'asumeen is that the moment you finish your namaz, you say your takbir, without switching, moving your legs, you immediately start reciting the tasbih of Hazrat Fatima as a continuation to your namaz. So namaz is done, quickly tasbih. After that you can say Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu, you can recite salawat, you can do whatever you want. All of these ta'qibat that we have in Mafatihul Janan. Don't want to say that what is being done is bad. Now we want to do the best. This is the highest quality, or that what has been mentioned by the Ma'asumeen. That is, you attach the tasbih of Hazrat Fatima to your namaz, and after that you can recite the tasbihat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. A person, he comes to Imam and says that, Yabna Rasulullah, I'm hard in hearing, कान मेरे जो है वो ऊंचा सुनते हैं. इमाम फरमाते हैं कि तस्बीह हज़रत फ़ातिमा पढ़ो. He comes back after a few days, says, I've been cured, शिफा मिल गई मुझे. ऐसी कोई परेशानी आ जाए आपके पास, परेशानी को बरतरफ करने के लिए यही तस्बीह हज़रत फ़ातिमा. ये ज़रूरी नहीं कि नमाज के बाद ही आप पढ़ें, यूं ही पढ़ दें तस्बीह, क्योंकि यहाँ पर इमाम फरमाते हैं कि ये वो ज़िक्र है जो कि ज़िक्र कसीर, यानी all that you can find in all the other azkar and recitals, more than that you will find in this simple zikr that is of Hazrat Fatima. तो यहाँ पर हज़रत रसूलुल्लाह के पास से जब वो वापस आती हैं अमीरुल मोमिनीन के पास, इमाम फरमाते हैं कुछ मिला, तो फरमाया कि मैं दुनिया के लिए गई थी लेकिन आखिरत भी साथ लेकर आई. And then Rasulullah sends a maid, Fizza, to help her as well. One of the other things that we recite in Quran is Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Hasana means good. कि खुदाया हमें इस दुनिया में hasana, give us good in this dunya, give us good in the akhirah. What is that good? Fatima. If Allah gives you Fatima in this dunya and gives you Fatima in the akhirah, you don't want anything else. A person brings his daughter to Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam, says, Yabna Rasulullah, I've been blessed with this child. I want you to recite the azan and iqama in her ears. Imam says, yes, certainly. And what have you named her? He says, Fatima. Imam says, Fatima. Fatima, Fatima, repeats and repeats and repeats so many times and then bursts into tears. Says, now that you've named her Fatima, don't slap her, don't beat her, don't yell at her, don't shout at her, respect her, honor her. That is what we see in the seerah of Rasulullah towards her daughter, towards his daughter, Hazrat Fatima. Now what happened and what they did immediately after Rasulullah, that is that what we have to look into, what went wrong. That is, they distanced from the wilayats, from the custodianship of Rasulullah, from Amirul Mu'mineen they distanced. And the more we distance from Quran and Hadith and Rasulullah, means that much we have drawn ourselves closer to Iblis. नमाज़ों में जो हम लोग कहते हैं कि क़ुर्बतन इलल्लाह, हम लोग नमाज पढ़ रहे हैं खुदा से करीब होने के लिए, So when you do something that qurb and nearness of Allah is not there, means that we are getting nearer and closer to Iblis. And it isn't as such that we can be this and that, both of them, no. It's either Ali or Muawiyah. It's either Rasulullah or Abu Sufyan. It's either Hussein or Yazid. One of the two we have to pick. People, they used to love Amirul Mu'mineen and his prayers. They used to join Amirul Mu'mineen. And they also loved the tables that were laid by Muawiyah, colorful, tasty, delicious. So it cannot be as that I want to eat food with Muawiyah and I want to say my prayers behind Ali. No, we have to pick one of them. Now, people who don't choose the right wali, the right leader, that is the danger zone. Some say that we will be in the gray area. Gray area is danger. That definitely people who are in the gray area, they will not find safety. They will not be safe at all, because gray area is that danger zone. So we have to pick the path, run now. Quran says, La tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. That is what is binding on you and on me. That you must not die, but that you are a Muslim. हम लोग मुसलमान पैदा तो हुए, लेकिन मुसलमान बाकी रहते हैं या नहीं, that is upon me. And I have no right to tarnish myself, to do anything that would take me away from my deen. I have to be on deen. There is a hefty investment that has been on this deen right since the inception of Islam till now. Billions of Muslims have been killed. So many prophets were killed. So much of blood has been shed. Hazrat Fatima, she gave away her life for this deen. Rasulullah, he was killed for this deen. Imam Hussein, he gave away, sacrificed his life for this deen. Means there is such a big investment on this deen. This center that is made, it is for the same mission, same aim, that we want to continue with the aims and missions of Rasulullah and Ma'asumeen. And may Allah reward the best of rewards for all those who have served in whatever way, in whatever manner, in keeping this deen alive. So, La tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. So, that what we learn from Hazrat Fatima alayha salam is that her support to the Imam of her time was to the max. One of the ways how we can also render our support to the Imam of our time, that is Imam al-Asr alayhi salam, the living Imam, Masalla ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, for whom not only we are waiting, the Imams, they are also waiting. Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that if I was to perceive my grandson Mahdi, now there is a generation gap of 6 generations between our 6th Imam and the 12th. Imam says that if I lived and I saw my great grandson Mahdi, I will spend the duration of my life serving him. لَخَدِمْتُ. That is, I will serve my grandson. Everyone is waiting. Imams are waiting. We also are waiting. So for us, we are waiting. So what do? Just sit and wait for him to come and then he carries out the mission? Then that is just a waste. If I'm waiting, I have to do all what he wants me to do, whether he is in the scene or whether he is behind the scene. For me, it shouldn't be any different. One of the ways how you can bond and get connected to the Imam of your time, because everything that you are getting now is via the Imam. بِيُمْنِهِ رُزِقَ الْوَرَى. That is the sustenance of faithful, of the faithless, rizq of everyone, no matter which haram you go to, no matter which Imam you knock at, there is an automatic dua forwarding system in place which is sent to the Imam and he responds to the du'as of yours. Whatever you want, it is Imam Mahdi alayhi salam who gives it to you. Arrangements that are made, that you come here, I come here, we sit together, that networking is with the Imam, and it is a complex network. No one can ever get to it. He does all the arrangements. That is the Imam. So, one of the ways how to be grateful and thankful to him is by portraying our gratitude and thanks to the Imam, and one of the ways is by reciting the du'as, and one of the du'as that we have is this one, du'a Ziyaratul Ahd. There are a few versions of it. This is the shortest version, so that you can recite it every day after your Fajr prayers. And Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that if you recite that for 40 days, and if your desire was to serve the Imam alayhi salam, and if you died before he returned, Allah will bring you back to life when the Imam returns, so that you serve the Imam alayhi salam. Says that is the guarantee of the Imam. And when Imam returns, and if he had died then, the angel would come and say, Ya Hadha, Imam has arrived. Do you want to return to dunya and join him? Or do you want to sleep here and I'll wake you up on the day of judgment? People who really truly wanted to serve, they will say, yes, we want to join. Hayat and life will be given to them. They will come back. Some people who've already seen the pains of death, they would say, no, let me sleep, wake me up on the day of judgment. So that option will be given to them as well. So one of the best of ways to connect and to bond with the Imam alayhi salam is by this ziyarat, or this dua that you recite after your Fajr prayers. Doesn't take much of your time. If you are a slow reader in Arabic, it may take 3-4 minutes initially, but once you do it a few times every day, you will memorize it, and it won't take more than 40-50 seconds of your time. Do it. Because everything that we get is from the Imam alayhi salam. Generally, when we have problems, we come and share the problems with the Imam. We don't share the joys with the Imam. When I get happy, I've been blessed with something, I will say that to everyone. I will never share it with my Imam. That is a bad relationship. A good relationship, a healthy relationship, my joys and my sorrows, both of them are shared with the Imam. Now, in the sorrows, if I don't even share them with him, he knows them. He is aware of it. That is our aqidah. That is our faith, that he is totally aware of what is happening with me, what I need and what should be given to me. In this dua, we say that Allahumma ja'alni min ansarihi wa a'wanih. Allah, make me among his helpers and among his a'wan, his associates, his assistants. وَالذَّابِينَ Zabbinan means that I submit to him wholly and totally and solely. People, they may say that, yeah, we are obedient to the Imam, but when it comes to in action, they may fall behind. That is not Zabbin. Zabbin, like the 72 who were with Imam Hussein, who submitted loyally to the Imam alayhi salam. That is, now I'll read this dua, and you also can follow the Arabic of it, and then inshallah we'll come to it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So you've done your Fajr prayers, you've done your tasbih, and then you quickly recite this. Allahumma balligh mawlaya sahib az-zaman. That Allah send my salam to the Imam alayhi salam. Now when I'm saying that Allah say salams and salutations to the Imam, what kind of a salam? Now I greet you, I say salamun alaikum. But to the Imam it shouldn't be the same. To the Imam it is salawatullahi alayhi. Allah, your salutations be upon him. Not only that, an jami'il mu'minina wal mu'minat. A salam that has to be such weighty, such heavy, that I am presenting it to the Imam, an jami'il mu'minina wal mu'minat, all the believing men and the women, from the inception until the last who will come into existence, assuming 100 billion mu'mineen were created. So I'm sending a salam to the Imam every day morning, a salam of that weight. 100 billion mu'mineen sending salams to the Imam. في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها, from the east of this earth to the west of the earth, برها وبحرها, those living on the land, those living in the seas, سهلها, on the plains, on the mountains, those who are alive, those who have passed away, حيهم وميتهم, وعن والدي وولدي, on behalf of myself and my children, my parents, my children. وعني من الصلوات والتحيات. Now this salam that I'm sending to the Imam says zinat arshillah. The weight of that should be the throne of Allah. The throne of Allah is the entire creation. The magnitude, the weight of that no one knows. Says, I want to send a salam that big. وَمِدَادَ كَلِمَاتِهِ. Midad means a pen, a pencil. Kalimat, now all these creations of Allah that He has created, how many are there? We don't know. No one knows. Says that much. وَمُنْتَهَا رِضَى. And then the contentment of the Almighty Allah. عَدَدَ مَا أَحْصَاهُ كِتَابُهُ وَأَحَاطَ بِهِ عِلْمُهُ. One of the ulama who passed away last year is Ayatullah Ray Shahri. Now those of you who are familiar with the books of ahadith, there's a book in Arabic, it was written Mizanul Hikmah. You've got the English translation of it, Scale of Wisdom. He compiled this book. It's all these ahadith, thousands of riwayat are there. Now, he, with his father-in-law, Marhum Ayatullah Mishkini, he was the Ustad Akhlaq of ours in Qum. They say that the days when Ayatollah Khamenei was appointed as a leader, he was coming to Qum, and Ayatollah Ilazma Bahauddini. Now, those of you who've been in Taqleed of Imam Khomeini, they switched to Ayatollah Bahauddini for a short duration of time. An old man, 90 years old at that time. Now these two ulama, they say that we want to go and see him, meet him. He's been ill for the past 1 week. And then this question they had in their mind, that we know that Imam Mahdi is in contact with him and he definitely comes to these noble people. We'll ask him if Imam did come to visit you, see you when you've been ill for these days. Now this is the question they wanted to ask, and they are talking to one another in the car, that when we go there we'll ask him. They say that we come to see Ayatollah Bahauddini, we just said Salamun Alaikum and we hadn't sat down. He says just before you came, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam was here. He greeted me with a salam. That weight of that salam, it cannot be measured with anything on this planet Earth, on the surface of this earth. That is the impact of a salam of the Imam. Now when you have a connection with the Imam on a daily basis, definitely you will benefit. Now one of the other ways they say that you can relate and connect with your Imam is by reciting 100 salawat every day. Because to every one of you and me, Imam looks at me 100 times every day. Now to repay or pay back those kind looks of the Imam, you recite 100 salawat, that is as thanksgiving to the Imam alayhi salam. Now, then I say that Allahumma inni ujaddidu lahu fi hadha al-yawm, that Allah, I am renewing this agreement with the Imam alayhi salam on this day. When do you renew an agreement? When you have signed an agreement. Now if you are reciting this dua for the first time tomorrow, means that there isn't any agreement in place. It's the first time you're reciting. So there is some agreement that we had with the Imam that I want to renew tomorrow. When was that? Prior to our coming into this dunya. We had an agreement with Allah when Allah created us in the forms of Ziyarat. There Allah proposes and gives the proposal of wilayat, and we all accepted then, not in this dunya. That is why when we go for Hajj, both the Sunnis and the Shias, when they perform tawaf around the Kaaba, they come to the Hajarul Aswad, They say that this is that misaq, this is that agreement that I had promised with my Lord before stepping into this dunya. And you, Hajarul Aswad, that was an angel that has been transformed into a rock placed on the Kaaba, says that you be a witness that I fulfilled my covenant, my agreement, my contract that I had with the Almighty Allah. So both the schools of thought have mentioned this. So when I say that Allahumma inni ujaddidu lahu fi hadha al-yawm, that Allah, I'm renewing this contract on this day, wa fi kulli yawm, and every day, ahdan wa aqdan wa bay'atan. It is a covenant, it is an ahd, a contract, wa bay'atan. Bay'at means to submit. That is, I submit myself to the Imam in everything. Fi raqabati, it will remain on my neck. Allahumma kama sharraftani bihadha tashrif wa faddaltani bihadhihi al-fadila wa khasastani bihadhihi al-ni'ma fasalla ala maulaya wa sayyidi sahib al-zaman. God, as you exalted me, you honored me by this covenant, by this bonding with the Imam alayhi salam. You send salawat upon the Imam. Who is he? Sahib al-Zaman. Sahib al-Zaman means the owner, the master of time is Imam. On this surface of this earth, the entire earth, he owns it. If he comes tomorrow and he says that I want this spot to live, you can't say that this is mine, this belongs to this association. No, it belongs to him. He is the owner. He is the rightful owner of that. If he says give it to him, you have to give it to him. We don't say that no. وخصصتني بهذا فصل على مولاي وسيدي صاحب وجعلني من أنصاره وأعوانه. And then I say that Allah make me among his helpers, among his associates, وأشياعه, among his followers, والذابين عنه, those who submit to him, وجعلني من المستشهدين بين يديه, those who sacrifice themselves before him. طائعا غير مكره. Ta'a means obediently. Now there might be people who may go and kill themselves. Now, during the time of Rasulullah, this happened, that a person was killed and people were carrying his body and says that this is Shaheed who got martyred in this war. Rasulullah, he there say, introduce, no, he didn't get martyred. Shaheed nahi hua tha, ye jang yahan par aaya tha, yahan par in ghanimat kuch lene ke liye तीर लग गया और मर गया. फिर रसूलुल्लाह फरमाते हैं ये शहीद हिमार है, ये गधे चुराने आया था यहाँ पर जंग में और वहाँ पर मारा गया. तो he wasn't ta'an. Ta'an means obediently. इमाम ने फरमाया लड़ो तो जाके लड़े, जान दो जान दें. फरमाया कि नमाज पढ़ो नमाज पढ़ें. Whatever he says has to be taken and done obediently. غير مكره في الصف الذي نعدت أهله في كتابك. And Allah, enlist me in that rank, in that row, who are obedient to you, and you have exalted and praised them in your book. فَقُلْتَ صَفًّا كَأَنَّهُمْ بُنْيَانٌ مَرْسُوسٌ. Bunyanun marsus means like a rock hard mountain. How strong a person can be in obedience of Allah, in obedience of Rasulullah, and the household of Rasulullah. That is the dua. That blue line that you have towards the end of the dua, it says, Allahumma hadhihi bay'atun lahu fi unuqi ila yawmil qiyamah. Imam says, how you do that? Assume that this is your hand, the right one. Left hand is the hand of Imam. Early in the morning, after you recite, you hold your left hand with your right hand, assuming that you are performing that allegiance, swearing an oath on the hand of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, and you say, Allahumma hadhihi bay'atun lahu fi unuqi ila yawm al-qiyamah. That Allah, this is an oath that I swear, an allegiance that I am promising to be with the Imam, to serve the Imam every day, until the day of judgment. This is dua that we recite every day in the morning, and inshallah add it to your daily program. Put some reminders on your devices that if you have forgotten it, do it, repeat it, say it, and inshallah, Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, He will give you immense barakah for having this bond with the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Now, the days are related to Hazrat Fatima, and she is the one who sacrificed herself for her Imam of her time. If Hazrat Zahra was an old lady, the musibat would not have been that great. We see that she is young. If she had so many siblings, or the Prophet had many more children and she was one of them, the musibat would have been less painful. We see that she is the only child. If she wasn't pregnant, it would have been less painful. She was pregnant. This musibat, it takes place in the presence of her husband. Amirul Mu'mineen is present there because we believe, as it was mentioned throughout this lecture, that Imam, he is the whole soul authority. Birth certificate of every person being born and the death certificate of every person who dies is signed by the Imam. Now, for Hazrat Fatima also, the death certificate or the Shahadat certificate has to be signed by the Imam, Amirul Mu'mineen. Now, how can he sign it? It's in his presence that this tragedy is taking place. We see that Hazrat Fatima is pregnant in the presence of her son, in the presence of her husband. They come, they bash, they burn down the door. Generally, when someone rings the doorbell, men have to go and open the door. That's what the practice is. Men, they open the door. Here, Hazrat Fatima has to open the door. Now, here we come to understand why Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, he took women and children in Karbala, is something that he learns from his mother, Hazrat Fatima. That people, they should know that what kind of a horrible lot they were dealing with. Karbala also the same. They knew who they are fighting. They knew Abu Abdullah. They knew Imam Hussein. They attacked the women and children. What happened with Hazrat Ruqayya, how they seized her earrings, killing, slapping, burning down. All that is that horrible nature. They had no sympathy, no kindness towards anyone, women or children. Now, if women and children were not there in Karbala, we who are 1400 years away from Karbala, for us to understand what exactly happened wouldn't have been so easy. Now, if Hazrat Fatima's sacrifice wasn't there, we would never know what kind of a horrible lot Rasulullah was dealing with. So all these are those miraculous teachings that we have and we see. Abbas, he is the uncle of Rasulullah. He comes to Amirul Mu'mineen and says that, Ya Ali, since Fatima has been injured, I haven't seen her. Can I come and see her? Hazrat Fatima is given the message. She says that, uncle, he's coming to see me. And it's not nice that I be stretched and lie down and he's coming to see me. Says to Salama, help me sit up. She drags herself and rests on the wall, sits up. And then she says to her that, get me my yellow head cover, yellow scarf. The yellow scarf is given, she wears it. Abbas, he comes to see Fatima and he says that I could not sit there for long. I saw her face and I saw that yellow head cover that she had, and I could not say that which one is more pale, whether the head cover or Zahra. She had gone so weak. And here Hazrat Fatima alayha salam, she says to Asma, who has been with her at all times, says that, Asma, the moment you see me that I am reciting Surah Yasin, I'm okay. And if you come and see that I have covered my face with this sheet, means that go and inform Ali that I have departed. This Naql says that Asma, she says that that day Hazrat Fatima was well, she did so much of her house chores, cooked the food, washed her sons Hassan and Hussein, and then washed herself. She lied down and then was reciting Surat Yasin. And then she says that the face is covered now. This is one report. The other report says that she informs Hassanain to go and tell your father that Fatima, she is not in a good state. Amirul Mu'mineen is in the masjid. The moment he finds out that this is what is happening to Zahra, Amirul Mu'mineen is 32 years old, a young man. He stands and his abba gets tangled in his feet. Saqata ala wajhi. He falls to the ground on his face. For the second time he wants to stand, he falls down. Now Ali is a strong man. For 3 times he falls when he gets this news, comes to Hazrat Fatima, sits by Hazrat Fatima. The first thing that Hazrat Fatima does is, with her fractured, broken arm, she sees Amirul Mu'mineen, he's weeping, shedding tears. With her broken hand, she comes and wipes the tears from Amirul Mu'mineen's face and wipes it onto her chest. Imam says, Zahra, what are you doing? She says, I heard from my father that the ashk, the tear of a mazloom is tabarruk. And there is no one more mazloom than you, Ali. No one more oppressed than you, Ya Ali. And I want to meet my father with this tabarruk, and that is this tear of yours. Wasiyat is read out that I want no one from that lot to be present in my funeral, in my prayers, by my grave. No trace of my grave remains until the day of judgment. And I don't want anyone to find out. Here, Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam, when she passed away, when Hazrat Zahra passed away, at night he performs the ghusl. Now the ghusl also is done in a very mazloom way. Asma, she pours the water. Amirul Mu'mineen washes the pure body from below a sheet. Now here, there is a qasida in Farsi. It says, Beriz aabe ravan asma bijisme athare zahra wali ahiste ahiste. Says you pour water on the body of Zahra Asma, but do it very gently, that even the droplets, they are not heard. Why? It is the wasiyat of Zahra that no one should find out that she has passed away. Asma pours water, Ali washes, and all of a sudden Amirul Mu'mineen, he screams out loud, cries loud. Asma says, Ya Ali, did you not say not to be quiet? Then why is it that you are crying out so loud? There Amirul Mu'mineen says, Zahra, she had hid this wound from me. This fractured arm was hidden from me. These fractured ribs of Zahra were hidden from me. She never told me, she never disclosed this pain that she was going through. That is Hazrat Fatima, salamullahi alayha. Whenever you have a musibah, whenever you have a problem, the best of du'as that we can have is just hold a tasbih in your hand and say, Ilahi bi Fatima, bi Fatima, bi Fatima. What we do on that Laylatul Qadr with Quran on your head, you say, Ilahi bi Fatima, bi Fatima, bi Fatima. إلهي بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها. 10 times, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Allahumma ahyana hayata Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa amitna mamata Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. खुदाया हमारी औलाद को नस्लन बाद नस्लन बेहतरीन मुसलमानों में तो शुमार कर, हम सब की आक़िबत बखैर फरमा। خدایا جو بیمار ہیں ان کو حضرت زہرا کا واسطہ شفائے عاجل اور کامل مرحمت فرما. خدایا بفاطمہ امام کے ظہور میں تعجیل فرما. ہمیں ان کے اصحاب اور انصار اور جو سچے ان کے جاننے اور ماننے والے ہیں ان میں ہمارا شمار کر. خدایا توفیق دے تیرے دین کی ہم حفاظت کر سکیں. یہ جو انویسٹمنٹ ہوا ہے تیرے دین پر اور جو یہاں تک پہنچا ہے خدایا ہمیں بھی اس مشن میں کامیاب کر. خدایا علماء کرام مراجع اعظام ان سب کی تو حفاظت فرما. اسلام اور مسلمین کو نصرت عطا فرما. کفر اور شرک اور نفاق کو سرنگوں فرما. وعجل فی فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان ماتم حسین.
یا حسین 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 یا حسین. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. کیوں کمر جھک گئی ہے مولا کی کیوں کمر جھک گئی ہے مولا کی کس کی میت اٹھا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. کیوں کمر جھک گئی ہے مولا کی کیوں کمر جھک گئی ہے مولا کی کس کی میت اٹھا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. وقت تلقین زخمی شانوں کو وقت تلقین زخمی شانوں کو دھیرے دھیرے ہلا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی. سامنا ہو گیا ہے ہے کنفذ سے سامنا ہو گیا ہے کنفذ سے صبر کو آزما رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی اپنی گردن پہ نیل رسی کا اپنی گردن پہ نیل رسی کا بیٹیوں سے چھپا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں علی قبر زہرا بنا رہے ہیں علی اپنی غربت چھپا رہے ہیں حق امام یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین وہ عابد بیمار تھا وہ عابد بیمار تھا چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا اور شام کا بازار تھا اور شام کا بازار تھا اور مصطفیٰ کی بیٹیاں مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی شبیر کی سینے پہ جو شاہ کے پلی سینے پہ جو شاہ کے پلی جس کی ابا بن میں جلی جس کی ابا بن میں جلی منہ پر تماچوں کے نشان مولا حکیم یا حسن یا حسین مولا حکیم یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
توجہ زیارت بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم السلام علیکہ یا رسول اللہ السلام علیکہ یا نبی اللہ السلام علیکہ یا حبیب اللہ السلام علیکہ یا امیر المؤمنین زیارت جناب سیدہ سلام اللہ علیہ مختصر السلام علیکی یا بنت رسول اللہ السلام علیکی یا بنت نبی اللہ السلام علیکی یا بنت حبیب اللہ السلام علیکی یا بنت خلیل اللہ السلام علیکی یا بنت صفی اللہ السلام علیکی یا بنت امین اللہ السلام علیکی یا بنت خیر خلق اللہ السلام علیکی یا بنت افضل انبیاء اللہ ورسلہ وملائکتہ السلام علیکی یا بنت خیر البریہ السلام علیکی یا سیدۃ نساء العالمین من الاولین والآخرین السلام علیکی یا زوجۃ ولی اللہ وخیر خلق بعد رسول اللہ السلام علیکی یا ام الحسن والحسین سید شباب اہل الجنہ السلام علیکی ایہۃ الصدیقۃ الشہیدہ السلام علیکی ایہۃ الرضیۃ المرضیہ السلام علیکی ایہۃ الفاضلۃ الزکیہ السلام علیکی ایہۃ الحوراء الانسیہ السلام علیکی ایہۃ التقیۃ النقیہ السلام علیکی ایہۃ المحجبۃ المحدثة العلمية. السلام عليك أيها المظلومة المغصوبة. السلام عليك أيها المضطهد المقهورة. السلام عليك يا فاطمة بنت رسول الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلى الله عليك وعلى روحك وبدنك. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصين. السلام عليك السلام عليك وعلى جدك وأبيك. السلام عليك وعلى أمك وأخيك. السلام عليك على 9 معصومين من ذريتك وبنيك. السلام عليك على جميع المستشهدين بين يديك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان 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 من فتن الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك واجعلنا من أعوانك وأنصارك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. دعاء إمام زمانه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. अब तमाम हज़रात से दरख्वास्त है कि एक सूरह फ़ातिहा तमाम जमी मोमिनीन मोमिनात के मरहूमीन के लिए और ख़ुसूसन इस मजलिस के मुंतज़मीन के लिए पढ़ें. बिस्मिल्लाह रहिमल्लाहु मन यक़रअ सूरतुल फ़ातिहा मअस सलवात. Brothers and sisters, inshallah tomorrow's majlis will be at 7 p.m. Once more, कल की मजलिस 7 बजे बरपा होगी इंशाल्लाह.